Hey Noville fans, and welcome to another episode of Cooking with Dad Before He's Dead. So come with me and let me show you how I cook a turkey. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our brine for the turkey. I'm going to start off with just 3 of these small bottles of apple juice. Not much. You can do maybe a quarter or whatever, but this is all I got laying around are these 3 little small bottles, and that'd be enough to give it some good apple flavor. From there, I'm going to go with about half a gallon of water, and then I'm going to add also a cup of salt. So let's go ahead and measure out a cup of the salt. And that's good. We also want a cup of brown sugar. It can be packed, it can be loose. It doesn't matter really to me. Maybe a little bit more extra. So yeah, about a cup of brown sugar. From there, I want to add about maybe a couple of tablespoons of whole peppercorns, if you got them. So there's about a couple of tablespoons. I'm going to throw in about 2 to 3 tablespoons of onion powder. And you can eyeball that. And that's good enough for me. Also going with some garlic powder. About the same, 2 to 3 tablespoons of garlic powder. Good enough for me. I'm going to throw in, let's say, probably 3 good-sized bay leaves or crumples of what would resemble 2 to 3 bay leaves. That's good. Also going in with some sage. This is optional, but I want my turkey to have just a little bit of a sage flavor. And so maybe a couple of tablespoons of that. Then I'm going to go in with 2 whole cinnamon sticks. So let me take out 2 sticks. There it is in the pot. And then I'm going to take 2 oranges and 1 lemon, cut them in half, throw them in the pot. Give them a squeeze if you want to squeeze them. Now we're going to let this come to a pretty good simmer. I don't necessarily want to boil it, but I want it to come to a pretty good simmer. And then once it's simmered, I'm going to shut the fire off. And I'm going to let this sit and cool down before I add it to my turkey. And that way it has time for the flavors to kind of all come together. And hopefully it tastes pretty good. So stir it around to dissolve that sugar and salt. And then let it come to a simmer. Now, one little surprise ingredient that I'm going to add in there is I'm going to add some Dan-O's. Some Dan-O's Original. And I'm going to probably put in about a good 4 tablespoons of Dan-O's. And again, that's optional. So what we've done now is let this brine cool down. And I've had it cool down a good several hours. So it's now at the room temperature now. What I'm going to do is I've already got my turkey prepped. I just took it out of the bag, rinsed it off, got the neck and the giblets out of it. And I've also got it in a, I guess, what do you call these things? A bag, an oven bag? So it's a turkey oven bag. And I've got it breast side down. So I'm going to try to do this without making a mess. So the first thing I would do is probably just add the oranges and the lemon halves that are already in here. Let's see what we do here without making too much of a mess. Let's just finish off with the rest of the brine. Doesn't look too shabby. Now let's add some water to it. I'm going to do just about maybe a quart first and see where that gets me. Get the peppercorns out of there. That's just more flavor, more flavor. You got the good part of the wings covered, the breast, the thighs, and the legs. The back here, I'm not really worried so much about that, but this right here seems to be what gets her done. Let me push that orange out of the way and make sure that we get all the air out of it. I'm going to put a Pampered Chef Twix clip on here, kind of dub it up a little bit, and there it is, just like that. Now I'm going to let this thing sit in here for about 12 hours. So looking at the clock now, I want this to sit in here for about 12 hours minimum, or actually maybe 12 hours maximum, 8 hours minimum. We got the turkey finished browning now. I took it out of the bag and out of the fridge, rinsed it off, let it sit for about 20-30 minutes so it can kind of get itself dry, and I'm just taking paper towels and just patting it dry everywhere. I want the skin to be somewhat dry. What I would do now is I'm going to show you how I'm going to hang this bird on the pit barrel. So what I want to do is just go right behind where the wing's at, and there's my first hanger there. I'm going to take the other one, do it on the exact opposite side. Got that done. Alright, it's going to hang just like that. And then on the rear side, it's going to be just the opposite. So I want to go right back in here behind the joint of where the thigh's at. So I'm going to hang from that side. And then I'm going to hang this. Alright, and there's that side right there. So those are the two sides that it's going to hang on, and trust me, they will hold for the duration of the cook. Now we got that done, I'm going to take just a little bit of olive oil and I'm going to coat everything on this bird. Then I'm going to sprinkle it with some Dan-O's and some Slap Your Mama, because that's just kind of what I like to do. So let's go ahead and coat this thing up. Light coating of olive oil, very light, and just try to get as much of the turkey as you can possibly get. Get the breast real good, get the legs and the thighs. Let's put on a sprinkling of some Dan-O's. And then we're going to sprinkle on a little bit of Slap Your Mamas. That's pretty much it. Now I'll show you how I'm going to have this thing hung on the rods. So this is how we got this beauty hung here. As you can see, that's the patterns of where the hangers will be. And that thing is breast side down. And we're going to let that thing ride for about 2 or 3 hours to start off with, and then we'll come back and check a temp. Alright, so we are 2 hours into this here. Let's do a temperature check. And it seems to be doing pretty good. Oh yeah, I think we finally got it done. So for this one here, I think it's ready. It got a little crispy, that's for sure, as long as the meat and everything underneath the skin is juicy. And usually when you're doing a barrel cook that way, you're going to sacrifice the skin most of the time because of how the temperature, you know, it can kind of be regulated, not be regulated. It all depends on the airflow. But that's just the way it is when you do a pit barrel turkey sometimes. If it was a regular traditional smoke, you're able to control the temperature better. But I'm not going for looks, I'm going for taste. So I know for a fact that underneath this, it's going to be pretty juicy. And we'll just let it sit, redistribute all the juices, and we'll come back and start carving it up. Alright, let's go ahead and get our turkey cut up. I'm going to just probably take the breast off and slice into that. Look how juicy this turkey is. Like I said, the skin itself may not look the greatest, but when you look at this breast meat here. You know that it's juicy. So let's go ahead and do a couple of slices here. I need to sharpen my knife. But look at that. Pretty moist. Now that's where it's at. Smoked turkey on the pit barrel cooker. A good brine. Pretty good. Woo! And the skin, maybe a little crispy and burnt looking, but still tastes okay. Alright, so give this turkey a try, and I hope you will have a good 4th of July. Enjoy it. It's raining as usual. Every 4th of July here it rains. Until next time, see ya. Toodles.